Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. We are currently streaming to Twitter, YouTube, Binance Live, and we are soon going to be streaming to Instagram and TikTok as well, hopefully. If you don't follow us on all of those platforms, what are you doing? Make sure to go to Crypto Saving Expert on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm posting reels and TikToks on there every single day talking about what's going on with the news, and all of the team are posting news articles as well. And also on our Twitter, we fill you in with what's going on in crypto 24/7. So make sure to check out all of our social media platforms. But let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin this morning. Or this afternoon, should we say. The price is currently $26,468, down only 0.72% within the last 24 hours. And Ethereum is sat at 1,844, down a similar amount, down 0.84% within the last 24 hours. So we've seen some slight movement, but we will be analysing the price of Bitcoin at the end of today's stream and seeing what's really going on there. We have a huge amount of news today, and I think it's a pretty exciting live stream because we've got loads to discuss. Sometimes we come on these live streams, because we do these live streams every single day. Sometimes we come on and I think, oh, we've not really got much going on here, but today we have so much to talk about. You can see that we've got a lot to discuss here, so let's just get straight into it. First of all, we are going to be talking about Binance.us. So they are going to delist dozens of altcoin pairs and pause its over-the-counter trading portal. So this is specifically Binance.us. This is the US arm of Binance. This is supposedly a completely independent company from Binance. So for those non-US citizens, this isn't going to affect you as such. So we can see here that they are going to delist all of these trading pairs from the platform. You can see the different altcoins involved in this. We have Aave, we have 1inch, we have Elrond, we have EOS. Let's see if there are any major ones here. Neo. There's so many in there, so make sure you take a look at this list and see what's in there. Sushi as well. Now, we can see that we've got some Bitcoin trading pairs as well, but the majority are with USDT. So Binance.us to pause its over-the-counter portal as well and reduce the number of assets available on its convert service. So this is coming after the SEC has filed a lawsuit against them and put out loads of charges against the company and its CEO, CZ. Now, interestingly, I would like to discuss, obviously we all know that the SEC... Well, what's essentially happened here this week? It's been a pretty interesting week because over the weekend there was a draft bill created that said, look, we need to sort out what's going on with crypto regulation. We need to specify which cryptocurrency assets should be regulated by the CFTC and which should be regulated from the SEC, because currently we have this overlap because we have this lack of clarity over whether cryptocurrency assets are securities, which should be regulated by the SEC, or commodities, which should be regulated by the CFTC. Because we have this overlap, it causes confusion. And then when we saw this draft bill on the weekend that said, look, we are going to create clarity on how to determine which of these categories these assets go into, this was like a sigh of relief for me. I was like, we're finally getting the ball rolling. We're going to have clarity and we're going to be able to move forward and learn about regulation in the US so we can continue to grow. Brilliant weekend. That was on Monday we reported that news. On Tuesday, Binance got a lawsuit. On Wednesday, Coinbase got a lawsuit. So it went from going really, really well to really, really terrible. Very interesting tweet from Coinbase filings. You can see a list here. Some of them overlap and some of them don't. Now, the problem here is to determine whether an asset is a commodity or a security. As I always say, we use the Howey test. This was a test created in 1946, I believe, and that test was not created for the cryptocurrency industry, as you may have guessed. It was created many, many years ago, and trying to put that test on the new technology is really hard, and that's why we don't have that clarity around which category these assets fit in. The test is a list of basically 4 conditions. If an asset fits those 4 conditions, it's a security. If it doesn't, it's a commodity. In fact, I think in this thread, he's put like 4 conditions out here. So if an asset is an investment of money in a common enterprise with the expectation of profit and to be derived from the effort of others, then it's a security. Now we can see here that there's no clarity around this. This was developed many, many years ago. Somebody is saying the stream is choppy, so let's try and let's remove this one and see if we have any better. Sorry to those Binance listeners, they have been taken off because I think that is sometimes the problem there. So what we have here, let me know if that makes the stream a little bit better. So what we have here is The Howey test is used to determine whether an asset is a security or is a commodity. Now, these assets here have been named as securities within these filings. You can see, obviously, there's nothing to do with Bitcoin. We will come back to that in just a second. This is all of the altcoins here. And we can see the SEC argues that 19 tokens satisfy the requirements of the Howey test due to the 3 common factors mentioned above. Now, Miles has actually looked at the similarities between these tokens. So we can see here, there was an initial sale fundraising at event. So this is things like ICOs. So if a token has an ICO, it has been hinted at before this week that if it has an ICO, it is classed as a security. And then we look at Ethereum, which was launched via ICO, and say, why is this not a security then? There's, as I said, there's lack of clarity. The next common feature these tokens do have, as pointed out by Miles, is each project pledged to improve the protocol via ongoing development, including biz dev and marketing expenses. So this is expectation of profits to be derived from the efforts of others. And then we have the third common thing is that social media was utilized to express the protocol's features, advantages. They're the 3 features that he's identified to be common in these tokens that have caused them to maybe classify these tokens as securities and name them as securities in these lawsuits. So this is a really interesting thread. I really like this thread. And so you can see here, if they are considered securities, what are the problems that come from this? First of all, they won't be able to be traded on US exchanges, which is why as soon as this lawsuit has named them as securities, Binance.us has chosen to take them off the platform. Also, they may be delisted from US exchanges like Coinbase and Robinhood, and it creates regulatory challenges and sets an alarming precedent. So the major issue here is the Howey test. As I just said, it was created in 1946, and that is trying to put that old model on the new cryptocurrency industry. It just does not go well. We don't have clarity on regulation here. Now, as somebody has replied to this tweet here, there was a really good reply to this tweet somewhere, and I can't find it anymore. We'll have to come back to, actually, it will be here. We can see here, this in turn creates an environment where brokers and financial advisors in the digital asset space would hesitate to do business here because of the SEC's ambiguity regarding how they had defined, or lack thereof, those outdated rules on becoming a regulated broker trader. So the lack of clarity makes it extremely difficult for any professional to operate in this space, and this is something I entirely agree with. The problem, which is something I say every single day here, is the Howey test just doesn't fit on the cryptocurrency industry. Now that we've had these tokens named as securities in these filings, that might be the only way we start to get clarity on this. We may be able to look at these, identify the common features like Miles has in this thread, understand that, and try and take that forwards as some sort of understanding. Now, we've been crying out for regulation, for clarity on regulation in the US for years now, and it's just something that the SEC do not want to give. Michael Saylor has even said they're doing this on purpose. They don't want to give us clarity. And Binance have said they tried to sort something out behind the scenes before this lawsuit came about, but they just believe that the SEC wanted to hit the headlines and scare people away from the cryptocurrency industry. And I'm starting to believe that's true. Let's take a look at the next article here. So we have Binance CEO debunks rumors that he was involved in a shootout with US authorities. More fears being spread around Binance within the last couple of days. I mean, Binance and CZ managed to get FUD spread around them all of the time. There's always something going on, accusing one or the other of doing something wrong every single time. I mean, there was a period of time in like February, March, where there was so much hate getting thrown at CZ that he had to create up a system on Twitter every time he tweets the number 4. It means ignore the FUD. It got ridiculous at one point. Now we do have this lawsuit, which we need to hear all of this SEC's arguments. They've put some interesting arguments out so far, and we will continue to read those and see what's really going on there. But Binance CEO CZ has debunked this rumor that he was involved in a shootout with US authorities. Let's take a look at the next article here and see what else is going on here. So Bitcoin, ETH, and USDT trade higher on Binance.us as investors flee the exchange. There's been a lot of fears around Binance.us. Now the SEC did try and pause their transactions or freeze their assets, and that has caused a lot of fears around the exchange. There's still an open wound from FTX's collapse in November last year. We all know what happens if an exchange has to stop trading. There's a lot of fear within the industry following FTX, and that has not yet gone away. So we can see why those fears have spread now. But now we see that Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's actually an arbitrage opportunity over on the Binance US exchange. So some people may take advantage of this. This is not me recommending this at all. This is just explaining how it works. If Bitcoin and Ethereum are trading higher on Binance.us compared to other competing exchanges in the region, some people may choose to buy their Bitcoin and Ethereum on a competitor's exchange, send it to Binance.us, sell for a profit, put it back into USDT, send it back to the other exchange, and rinse and repeat. And that is a very known way to make money. That is how SBF, the creator of FTX, or the CEO of FTX, former CEO of FTX, made a lot of money prior to building FTX, the exchange. So that's an interesting thing that's happening right now. This also happened on Binance Australia just a couple of weeks ago when a lot of the banks decided they didn't want to work with the exchange anymore. And we are seeing more problems for Binance Australia, which we will be discussing later in today's stream. Before we continue, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday. We have a huge amount of news to discuss today, and then we'll be taking a look at the price of Bitcoin there as well and seeing what's going on there. So let's take a look at this next article here. Gary Gensler had close ties to Binance's CZ and offered to serve as the exchange's advisor. Now, this was only in 2019. So if we take a look at this, we could see that lawyers in Binance's securities case claim that SEC Chair Gensler once offered to serve as an advisor to their company. So we can see here Gensler and Binance executives discussed the prospect of extensively in March 2019, and Gensler met Binance CEO for lunch in Japan later that month. So the two remained in contact after that, and CZ later took part in an interview as part of cryptocurrency courses that Gensler previously taught at MIT. Additionally, when Gensler testified before the House Financial Services Committee in 2019 regarding Facebook's Libra cryptocurrency, he sent CZ a copy of his remarks. And earlier reports from the Wall Street Journal, cited by CNBC, suggested that Binance officials approached Gensler to serve as an advisor as early as 2018. So is there a conflict of interest here? Very interesting articles here. This is flying all over cryptocurrency Twitter right now. I mean, crypto Twitter suddenly got exciting again. Towards the end of last year, it was getting so dull. Nobody was interested. Nobody was happy. Everyone was arguing with each other. And now it seems like the whole community has just got joined back together and said, come on, we can beat this regulation. We can get some clarity. We can get some understanding of how we can move the industry forwards. Now, I would like to say there are so many things that happen in the bottom of a bear market or the start of a bull market that make everybody believe that it's the end for cryptocurrency. How often do you hear people saying that cryptocurrency is never ever going to come back? And it's because things like this take place in the bear market. We saw FTX collapse. We've seen Mt. Gox collapse in previous bear markets. We've seen all of these problems in previous bear markets before, but cryptocurrency has historically managed to get through them. And we will learn how to get through things like this. The point I wanted to make earlier, which I forgot about, is you can see on all of these things, Bitcoin is left out of this. Bitcoin is commonly identified as a commodity. I don't think that's going to be becoming a security anytime soon. It does not fit the Howey test. We are going to see more regulation around this and see Bitcoin be firmly put in a space where we can keep it safe. Hopefully, cryptocurrencies, altcoins, they are a bit more borderline. Bitcoin, though, we can keep, I'm confident that we can keep Bitcoin in as the asset class that it is in. Let's take a look at what's going on with the next article here and see what else is going on. Before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, talking about what's going on in the markets and taking a look at the Bitcoin chart. We will be looking at the price of Bitcoin and analysing it at the end of today's stream, so make sure to stay tuned until the very end. We are currently on 9 likes for today's stream. I think we could do better than that. Let's try and get a target of 25 before we end today's stream. If you are watching on another platform, We are currently streaming to not Binance Live anymore, to Twitter and to YouTube. So if you are following us along on Twitter, make sure to drop a comment in the comment section. It really helps us with the algorithm. Now, when you like, when you subscribe, when you comment, pushes the video out to more people. And when more people hear about what's going on in the cryptocurrency space, they might want to get involved. They may want to learn a bit about crypto. And what we all want to see here is cryptocurrency adoption. We don't want this to all just die down. We want to see people get excited about the industry. And I'm here to get us all excited every single day. So if you wouldn't mind helping us with the algorithm, I would greatly appreciate that. We've just shot up to 12 likes. Thank you very much to everybody who has just hit that like button. Let's take a look at this next article here. Robinhood could delist tokens implicated in SEC lawsuits as securities. Now, this is just other exchanges trying to save their own backs, essentially. Robinhood has not yet had a lawsuit against it, so if it can see that these tokens have been named as securities in the lawsuits against Binance and Coinbase, if it wants to protect its own back, it's going to delist them as quickly as possible. We can probably see this in the near future. This is something I am expecting personally. Now, we have seen these tokens be delisted from Binance.us, but we've not yet seen them be unlisted from Coinbase. Now, we can see here in this article from CryptoSlate that Coinbase has no plans to delist assets or end staking service. So the SEC alleged that at least 13 cryptocurrencies listed by Coinbase are securities, and the CLO Paul said the exchange doesn't plan to delist any. Now, we all know that Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, has been fighting for regulation, clarity on regulation within the US for the last couple of months. As I keep saying, ask me a year ago what I thought about Brian Armstrong. I'd think he was great for making Coinbase, but it was neither here nor there. Ask me again now. I am a huge fan. He has been pushing for clarity on regulation so much and stepping up to the plate to try and help the entire cryptocurrency industry in a way that nobody else seems to be doing it. So I'm very on board with following with Coinbase and trying to push for that clarity around regulation in the US. I'm very happy with how Brian Armstrong has been trying to make these steps forward. He's created a petition to get clarity on regulation towards the SEC. The SEC were actually ordered yesterday to respond to that petition within a week. So we are seeing movements here. And this week has been very volatile in terms of getting clarity on regulation in the US. There's been big steps forwards, but there's also been some movements back with the SEC's charges on Coinbase and Binance. Let's take a look at this. So we have the US SEC filed charges against Coinbase on June the 6th. Now, this was after they were issued a Wells notice earlier this year. A Wells notice is essentially a letter saying, we're researching you. You're probably going to come into trouble later down the line, and unless everything's perfect. So it was kind of expected here. And then we can see that Coinbase has no plans to delist any of these assets, said the CLO. Now, the CEO Brian Armstrong told Bloomberg that the company does not intend to discontinue its staking services, that it has business as usual. So Brian Armstrong's been pushing for clarity on regulation. He's not being given it. He doesn't want, until we have that clarity on regulation, he's going to stand his ground by the looks of it. And this is pretty interesting, this. So despite executives' attempt to assure users that the status quo will continue, Coinbase has removed opportunities in the past. Notably, it has halted XRP trading since 2021, and it explicitly cites the SEC's case against Ripple as the reason for that choice. So Coinbase also delisted BUSD and removed Algorand from its staking options around the time of regulatory concerns. Those reasons for these delistings may be tangentially connected to regulatory events. Additionally, Coinbase ended its Lend program following legal threats from the SEC in 2021. But now, Brian Armstrong and Coinbase have decided they're standing their ground on this one. We need more clarity on what's determining whether an asset is a security or a commodity. Again, as I said at the start of today's stream, this was something that we were looking like we were going to get. If you asked me over the weekend, I would have been feeling pretty positive because we had that draft bill saying we were going to have clear instruction on how to classify these assets rather than using the Howey test from the 1946. But now, we are back in the uncertain areas right now. Let's take a look at this next article here, though. So Cathie Wood says SEC scrutiny into Binance will reduce competition for Coinbase. So ARK Invest's Cathie Wood says that while Binance is in hot water with the SEC for fraud, Coinbase has not been accused of any criminal activity. Now, there is a big difference here. There's a big difference between these two lawsuits. So with Binance, they are getting accused, so we can take a look at this. Binance is increasing the regulatory scrutiny for more criminal activities, fraud being one of them. Therefore, we have the competition for Coinbase disappearing. So that's a good good thing long-term for Coinbase. So Binance is being accused of offering unregistered securities, being an unregistered securities exchange. So is Coinbase, but on top of that, Binance is being accused of allowing users from the US to use the Binance.com platform. So let's explain that a little bit better, Jess. What we have here is Binance, and then we have Binance.us. They're supposed to be completely independent entities. Now, Binance are being accused of allowing people in the US to use Binance.com instead of forcing them to use Binance US. Now, Binance.us is regulated by regulators in the US, whereas Binance.com is not. Binance.com is for non-US citizens. Binance US is for US citizens. Binance US has less features and it offers less to its customers because of those regulations in the US. So Binance are now being accused of allowing citizens in the US to continue using Binance.com and getting access to those extra features. Now, obviously, there is something illegal. We can also see that as criminal activities. We can also see that they are being accused of moving funds in a way that we wouldn't expect them to. So they are the extra problems that we can see in the Binance lawsuit that we are seeing with Coinbase. Coinbase is just that it's offering unregistered securities and that it's an unregistered securities exchange. That's the difference there. There's the problem with the Howey test and the difference between whether assets are securities or commodities for both lawsuits, but Binance has that extra level to it where it's saying these aren't two separate entities. You're allowing customers to use the platform that they shouldn't, and all of these additional problems. So that's a big difference between these two lawsuits here, and that is something we should discuss. And we can see that Cathie Woods has said here, look, this could be an opportunity for Coinbase to gain some market share. So we can see here that Cathie Woods said that the uncertainty and volatility in the global economies has boosted ARK's investments in confidence in Bitcoin. She firmly believes that Bitcoin will hit the 1 million mark in the future. She said, why would Bitcoin do well in that circumstance? It will do well because it's an antidote to counterparty risk in the traditional financial system. Now, obviously, as always, I am completely bullish on Bitcoin. I don't think that's ever going to change. Before we continue with the next article, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, so make sure, if you haven't already, to hit like and subscribe and press the bell notification button. It helps us with the algorithm and it helps us get on more people's screens. When more people see our videos, they might get interested in cryptocurrency, therefore driving adoption. And that is exactly what we want to see. Also, if you are new around here and you haven't been to the Crypto Saving Expert website, I am currently repping the merch right now. If you want to take a look at our website, just go to cryptosavingexpert.com. You get access to all of our news articles, our free educational courses, our guides if you're setting up a new wallet. In fact, let's go over to the website and take a look. If you go over to our guide section, you can see here, it's going to load slowly because I'm streaming to so many platforms right now. If you want to use different exchanges, we've got all the information on centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges. Let's zoom out a bit because I've done it. I've zoomed in about 50 times here. We've got information on all of the different centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, how to sign up, how to trade on these platforms. We've got trading information so you can learn the different things you can use when you're trading. We've also got the different tools. We've got wallets, information on how to set up software and hardware wallets. We've got information about tax, cryptocurrency cards, stay safe, how to use different networks, how to put them onto your MetaMask, and we've got information about the metaverse as well. We've got literally everything you could possibly think of about cryptocurrency on this website. And if you can think of something that's not on there, let me know and we'll add it in as quick as possible. The team have been working incredibly hard on this. I've been part of the team for over 2 years. 2 years now, and we've just been building and building and building behind the scenes because We only launched this year in 2023, but we were building for a long time prior to that. So if you want to check it out, make sure to go to cryptosavingexpert.com and to get access to those amazing courses as well, which are completely free. All you need to do is press that big blue sign up button and create an account there as well. Now I'll stop shilling that to you and take a look at what else is going on in the news today, because we still have a lot to discuss here. So Coinbase to withdraw over 70,000 staked Ethereum amid SEC lawsuit. So the US regulatory pressure has led to an increased demand from Coinbase users who want to withdraw their staked Ethereum. Now this is because obviously we've seen problems with the SEC and staking features on centralized exchanges in the past. We've seen that with Gemini, which was created by the Winklevoss twins. Because of the way we stake on centralized exchanges, it could be classed as, let's go back to the how we test it, which was in this thread, the expectation of profit to be derived from the effort of others. Now, staking through a centralized exchange means depositing your funds in the exchange, and then the exchange does all the work for you, creating interest on your tokens. So this is why staking through a centralized exchange could be classed as offering securities. Whereas if you go to the actual blockchain and you stake your tokens yourself, that you're doing the effort to create those profits essentially. So that's the difference there. And that is something that's caused a problem with Gemini before, another exchange based in the US. And now Coinbase have said they are not going to end their staking service. They've explicitly said that since the lawsuit. However, they have started to see people removing some of their tokens just in case. And this is an understandable thing to do. We are going to see withdrawals increase on both Binance, the US, and Coinbase during this period of uncertainty. But that is what's going on there. Let's take a look at the next one here. We have Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong responds to SEC lawsuits and says Gensler's views not representative of US government. So the Coinbase CEO insisted that Gensler's views do not reflect those of others in government. And Armstrong's remarks come in response to a recent lawsuit from the SEC and as the US government escalates its clampdown on Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange. So Armstrong has said, I want to make an important point, which is that the SEC chair may have a certain point of view, but that's not representative of the whole US government. And he said, when I meet with members of Congress, I think the board consensus, probably among 80% of people I talk to on both sides of the aisle, is we don't know exactly what this technology is going to become. And we don't. It's pretty exciting to see how we can adopt this technology and how it can grow. But the problem that we are seeing here is that if the US continues to create lack of clarity around the regulation, cryptocurrency companies like Binance, like Coinbase, are going to move out of the region and into other regions, and the US is going to fall behind. Let's take a look at the next article here. So another Australian bank places limits on payments to crypto exchanges. We have seen that in Australia, banks do not want to work with cryptocurrency exchanges right now. It's caused problems with Binance. Binance have had to delist all of their Australian dollar pairs on the platform on Binance Australia. And we did see an arbitrage opportunity there as well, with Bitcoin trading higher on Binance Australia compared to its competitors within the region because the amount of withdrawals that they saw from their exchange. Let's take a look at the next one here. FCA to require risk warnings on crypto as UK tightens regulation. So crypto firms face advertising risk warnings and referral bans and a 24-hour cooling off period under new FCA rules. So we can see here the UK's Financial Conduct Authority announced that from October 1st, crypto would be classified as restricted mass market investments, a category reversed for higher risk investment products. So we can see a lot of fears coming from regulators here. We can see the UK crypto regulation is coming and we are going to see development in this area. Now, we have had Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, talk to regulators in the UK within the last couple of months, and he's praised the way that the UK regulates cryptocurrency, saying that it's all good that it's under one governing body, the FCA, rather than in the US when we have the CFTC and the SEC battling over what we classify these assets as. Let's take a look at the next article here. Before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. As I was saying, we do these live streams every single weekday, so make sure to hit like so you don't miss out on what's going on. And if you are streaming from Twitter, please leave us a comment. It's very exciting. We only started streaming to Twitter this week, so let me know it's all running smoothly, and let me know if you are enjoying today's stream. Let's take a look at this article here. Jim Cramer wants investors to get out of cryptocurrency. Who here sees the this is a bullish signal, let me know. We can skip on to the next article here. We have an exploration of the green universe. If you are interested in this crypto-based product looking to help the world through blockchain-based green initiatives, make sure to check out cryptosavingexpert.com. I'll drop the link for this in the YouTube live chat, and I will continue on to the next article here, and then we'll get on to the price of Bitcoin. So the last one is the greater fool theory, how this applies to investing. So this involves buying an overvalued asset and selling it later during a market bubble, because someone would always like to pay more in a bubble. Interesting concept here, and something that is really worth reading. This will probably be added into the guide section of cryptosavingexpert.com. As I was saying, check out the website if you haven't already. It is very, very good. A lot of work has got into it, and we have a huge amount of users right now. It's actually insane. We were looking at the Google Analytics as a team yesterday, and it was mind-blowing to see how many of you are taking advantage of this information. And if you're not, you will not be able, you need to stay up to date with what's going on in crypto. Other people are. So learn what's going on in crypto, learn all the different things that are involved so that you can have conversations about the technology and keep updating your knowledge. That's really important there. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin now and see what's going on. We've just hit 16 likes on today's stream on YouTube. If you have not liked today's video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe and press the bell notification button. Let's try and get to 20 likes before we finish today's stream. We've had a lot to discuss today. My mouth is getting dry from the amount I've spoken for the amount of time that I've been talking now. We're in 32 minutes into this stream so far, but we've just got Bitcoin's price to analyze, and then we will close off today's stream, and I'll be back tomorrow. Let's take a look at this though. We have clearly a level of resistance here on the daily chart. Now this is currently sat at around $27,430. We also have a level of support here to take a look at. So if we take a look at this here, and let's pull that the whole way out, we can see this has been used as a resistance previously. We've now been using it as a support over and over again. This is a pretty exciting pattern to me. This is a descending wedge, and we all know a descending wedge has a higher probability of breaking to the upside than to the downside. The only concern I see with this chart pattern is the volume is incredibly low, and it has been, like, I mean, look at the trading volumes in this period of time when we were down below $25,000 compared to it now. I mean, the volumes have just fallen off in the last couple of days. The volumes are as low now as they were back in March and February of 2022. And what I'd like to see in this sort of pattern is see the volumes start to peak a bit and start to see some volumes within the markets. Let's take a look at this. JB says, my only problem with the market at the moment is that I don't have as much money to buy as I would like. I know every single time the market goes down, you're like, I wish I had more right now. But it is an interesting time to be in the markets. We'll always think we've never got enough, won't we? Every time you think you have a goal, and when you reach that goal, you'll be happy. By the time you get to that goal, you'll have an even higher one. That's just how the world works. We can see here though, we are in this descending wedge. This has a higher probability statistically of breaking to the upside than to the downside, so we will be keeping a close eye on this here on the streams. If we take a look at the smaller time frames in the hourly chart, it's definitely been a volatile week. We've seen that huge move to the downside when Binance got hit with that lawsuit, and that huge move to the upside when Coinbase got hit with their lawsuit. So it's been volatile, it's been unexpected, but it's been an interesting week to say the least. But that is all we have for today's stream. We should probably close off now. So how has everybody started to join the stream at the end? We've had a huge amount of news to discuss in today's stream. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification button. And if you've just joined us, make sure to rewind and listen to what we've been discussing today. Thank you very much for watching, and we will be back tomorrow with another live stream. So I hope to see you all then. Goodbye.